Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Sunday, August the 13th, 2023. Today there's a conjunction between the Sun and Venus. I regard this conjunction as being very important, certainly the main astrological feature today. So I have actually created a separate video describing the Sun-Venus conjunction, and I've put a link to this in the pinned comment of this video. So I now want to look at the astrology for today, which is Sunday, August the 13th, 2023. So here we go. On the top right, you can see a blow-up of the Sun-Venus conjunction, which I regard as being, I regard it as being extremely important. So I have talked about the Sun-Venus conjunction quite a lot, and I've generally seen this conjunction in a fairly negative light. Reason being that Venus is combust. In other words, Venus is so close to the Sun that it is being burnt. And in some of my recent videos, I've suggested how this might be working out. In a male chart, a Sun-Venus conjunction brings the possibility of someone who may mistreat women in some way, or perhaps discount them. In a female chart, the Sun-Venus conjunction, may represent a woman who attracts men who maybe undermine her femininity. So those are the negative aspects of the Sun-Venus conjunction. So today you do need to bear that in mind. So particularly if you're a man, you need to be very careful how you treat women today. I mean, not just today, because this Sun-Venus conjunction is not just a one-day wonder. It was in operation yesterday. It's around, probably for the next few days. So it's not just today. It's into next week. If you're a woman, it's the kind of reverse. Watch how you're treated. It's very important that you stand up for yourself. But the Sun-Venus conjunction isn't all bad. If the Sun and Venus can relate to each other in the right way, then we can present our vision of the world very effectively. Because Venus is a planet of relationships, and the Sun is about power. It's about our selfhood. And if we can somehow manage it so that we don't burn our capacity to relating, if we can actually integrate our capacity to relate into our selfhood, then we can be very powerful and we can be very charismatic, and we can know how to get people onto our side. But I will be looking at all of this in greater detail when I do the separate video. So if you look at the separate video, you can see my view on this conjunction with some examples. Now, aside from the conjunction between the Sun and the Venus, the Moon continues to be in Cancer, where it makes a sextile aspect to Mars and a sextile aspect to Uranus. You can see here that Mars is at 21 Virgo, Uranus is at around 23 Taurus, and the Moon is kind of right in the middle. So the Moon is picking up the sextile with Mars and the sextile with Uranus. So a sext Moon in Cancer, sextile Mars in Virgo, represents sort of useful activity. Cancer and Virgo are kind of quite low-profile, sensible signs. So the Moon sextile Mars, is about perhaps sorting things out, making sure that everything's in order. Maybe sort of in a family setting, if family members are being chaotic and are not attending to their various duties, it's a good time to get everyone into shape. Even if it's not in a domestic setting, we can bring people round to a common objective, and that common objective, as I've just said, can be about sorting things out. It needn't be in the house. It can be outside. It can be, I don't know, sweeping leaves. Okay, it's not quite autumn, but it's that kind of thing. It's not spectacular action, but it's useful. And that moon, the moon sextile Uranus, allows us perhaps to use gentle shock tactics to get what we want. And getting what we want is just having good organization. So overall, I think it can be a very useful day. Now there are a couple of other things going on. You'll notice that Mars is at 2110 Virgo, and Venus is at 2021 Leo. So Venus and Mars are sort of in a semi-sextile aspect. I mean, they're one sign apart. And, when you've got two planets that are one sign apart, it can be a bit of a problem. Venus in Leo works very differently from Mars in Virgo. Virgo, Leo, two very different signs. They're right next to each other. And so in relationships, there might be a certain feeling of a mismatch. Even if you know someone really well, even if you live with them, you might feel that you don't entirely see the world in the same way. It's not like a major clash, but it's just a certain sense of unease. So what you do in this situation, well, it's kind of up to you. You could just accept it. You don't see the world in the same way as your partner or some other person who's very close to you. But, tomorrow, the day after, it's just a passing phase. Or you might decide to confront the issue, to perhaps discuss it, argue about it, but in a very gentle way. This is not a day for big arguments. So yes, so that's certainly something to consider. From a midpoint perspective, the Sun and Venus are aspecting the Neptune Hades midpoint. Now, Neptune Hades midpoint is perhaps about water, because Neptune is a planet of the planet of the sea. Hades is about decay, garbage, sometimes death. And so Neptune Hades indicates maybe dangers around water in extreme situations. So, with Sun and Venus on a Neptune Hades midpoint, it's probably best if you don't go on boat trips today. I know it's Sunday. Some people have boats. They like to go on lakes. But, maybe you should just give it a miss. Also, be careful with your plumbing. Don't do the plumbing yourself unless you absolutely know what you're doing and you are, or whatever, a certified plumber or something like that. Yeah. Wherever there's water, there could be danger. Now, Moon in Cancer is obviously Cancer is a water sign. Yeah, by all means, look at water at a distance. Go to a river, a lake, or whatever, but don't actually go in it. Don't even go near it. Just look at it from a distance. You don't have to be up to your neck in water to enjoy it. Just the general atmosphere is fine. Just be on dry land. So slight danger relating to water. Not a good day for boating, I would have said. So that's my overall view of today's astrology, at least in terms of the broad planetary picture. So what I want to do now is do my forecasts for the 12 signs. So here we go. These are my forecasts for Sunday, August the 13th, 2023. Aries, wherever you are, you can make your influence felt, but don't feel that you have to try too hard. Indeed, if you assert yourself too much, there could be a clash of personalities. Perhaps not a dramatic clash, but a general feeling of uneasiness. If you're in a relationship or a close friendship, give the other party plenty of space. Taurus, choose your company carefully. Not everyone is good for you, and some people can undermine your confidence. Yet you have the opportunity to reach out to places and situations that are sympathetic to your needs. The things you should be looking for are stability and kindness, rather than excitement and drama. Gemini, everything can be sorted out slowly and methodically, and you should address yourself to tasks which not so long ago seemed impossible. In terms of money, you can cover a lot of ground. The numbers will make sense and you'll understand how to balance the books. I think your family will also understand and support what you are doing. Cancer, your job is to keep things moving. This is because the overall environment is somewhat stuck and people might feel that there is no point in doing anything. But for your part, the moon, your ruler, is making a sextile aspect to Uranus and Mars. At a gut level, you understand the lethargy and laziness, and you know how to challenge it. Leo, you have a strong belief in yourself, which may at times border on arrogance. But today you need to reconsider your position and make a special effort not to crowd people out. Let everyone express themselves and, for the moment, keep your opinions to yourself. A bit of solitude can do you the world of good. Virgo, overall, it looks like being a good day. You're reasonably adaptable and you'll be able to transition from one place to another with relative ease. And with the moon aspecting Mars in Virgo, you can have a definite impact on your immediate environment. By pointing something out in an energetic way, you can get a really powerful and beneficial response. Libra, you want to be seen and heard, but socializing just for the sake of it is probably a bad idea. The more people around you there are, the more you'll feel squeezed out and the more difficult it will be to express yourself. But if you put your energy into career matters, even though it is a Sunday, you'll be able to make good progress. Understand that not everyone is your friend. Scorpio, there is a conjunction between the Sun and Venus in a high-profile sector of your solar chart. This conjunction is a mixed blessing, but in your case it might allow you to grab everyone's attention. Just remember to keep your emotional sensors switched on, because someone out there might be overwhelmed and they might need your help. Sagittarius, it's probably best to have a quiet Sunday. Do what is necessary and don't get in touch with anyone unless there is a good reason. A 60-degree aspect between the Moon and Mars is good news. Unusually for most Sagittarians, your sense of detail is outstanding and you can home in on the details that really matter. and no need to apologize if you tread on anyone's toes. Capricorn, it may be time to give career matters some thought. Something is not entirely right. Perhaps you're not getting enough recognition, or you're having to spend too much time going over old ground. But it is something you can change. Elsewhere, you can link up with people who have a unique and very interesting view of the world. Aquarius, there are many different things going on around you, and you can't let it slip under your radar. Everything matters, especially in terms of relationships, and those who are most quiet probably require the most attention. But maybe you yourself aren't being paid enough attention, in which case you need to do something to remedy the situation. Pisces, although the day does have a few difficult aspects, they don't really affect you. This means that you can be yourself and perhaps focus on relationships, because the moon is making a useful aspect to Mars. Give your sense of fun free rein and see where the situation takes you. Personal differences aren't set in stone. So I'm now going to move on to the I Ching, and as usual I threw 3 coins in the air and I asked the question, what is Sunday going to be like for visitors to my YouTube channel? And the first hexagram I got was hexagram number 37, which is the family. And that's probably quite suitable for a Sunday. I mean, Sunday is a day when people don't usually work, where they're at home, where they have more contact with their family than usual. So that's going to be a very important part of what's going on today. Of course, in some respects, I'm stating the obvious here. But when the I Ching talks about the family, it is being very traditional. You know, the I Ching, with its Confucian philosophy, regards the family as being, the foundation for everything. A healthy society needs to have a healthy family, and all the various relationships in that family have to be in order. And of course, it being the I Ching and it having a Confucian view of the world, the traditional family would have, the father at the apex, and the father he'd need his wife would have to have the particular relationship to him, and she would be under him, and then all the children would need to be under her, and they, so it would all be very structured. Now, I understand, we're living in the modern world, and we can't completely live according to this Confucian ideal. But it's just a reminder that, the family is important, and today the family needs to be in order. And so what we have to do is make sure everything is running as it should be. Now the second line moves, and this is a reminder that duty is important. So in terms of relating to your family, it's not about doing something dramatic, changing everything. It's about understanding what your duty is to your family. Remember, I'm only talking about today. I'm not talking about tomorrow. So there is a sense of duty that is incumbent upon you. I mean, you're listening. You've come to this channel, and you're listening to me on this Sunday. So you've kind of become part of what I'm saying. So in terms of your family, if appropriate, consider what your duty actually is. Now, that's not necessarily a family as in, mother, father, children living under the same roof. It could be about a group of friends. The I Ching talks about the clan. Whatever group you happen to be in today, it still has a certain hierarchy, and it has a certain need to run properly. and it's your responsibility to make sure that you do your duty. And I do apologise for being so traditional and for being so regressive, but I'm just reporting what the I Ching says. The fourth line also moves, and the fourth line is about balancing the budget. So family budgets, this is something that needs to be looked at. So in terms of your family or your clan, the group you're involved with, if you're sharing a house with people, whatever, look at how much money is coming in, look at how much money is going out, and see if you can sort it all out. See if you can make sure that the books balance, because you're going to be very good at that kind of thing. At least today you are. So to begin with, there is this sense of duty, but these two lines move, and this creates a really big change, and it moves to the next hexagram I threw, those two moving lines. So look, if those two broken lines move, of course, you get a situation where all the lines are unbroken. And so that's kind of how we end the day. And it's hexagram 1, which is the creative. Completely different feel. The creative is about harnessing the power of the universe and just focusing it on what we need to do. It's not a chaotic thing. We can't just do anything. The universe wants to go in a particular direction, and so maybe this is about saying, okay, we've sorted out the structure of our life. The family. We need to have a secure structure on which to base our activities. So once we've sorted things out, maybe people doing their duty in the home, clearing stuff up. Actually, I was talking a lot about that when talking about the astrology today. Moon in Cancer, sextile Mercury in Virgo. That's a lot about useful activity and people doing their jobs, doing their chores, doing the washing up, all that kind of stuff, that tedious stuff that has to be done. So once all that is out of the way, we can actually start to be genuinely creative. We can start to tap into the universe and really understand what we're supposed to be doing. That's a duty which is a kind of a higher duty. It's not just a duty of cleaning dishes. It's the duty of understanding what the universe wants us to do. We all have something we need to do. That's what our life is all about. We're here for a purpose. And so by the end of the day, tap into that creativity and really try to work out what you're supposed to be doing. Because I think if you can clear your mind, you're in a clear environment, perhaps in a family or group situation where everything is in order, that allows the universe to speak to you and to tell you where you should be going. And I think you can then bring to bear this creative energy. So that's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.